So you will have some questions. You will have about maximum of 5 minutes. The first one will go to the Honorable Siyad. You are currently the Women Representative Member of Parliament for Garissa County and also a member of PAC. You are aware that we have done several investments in ASAL. In ASAL areas, we have done a lot of investments, but the results has been very little. The impact has been very little. So what innovative measures, what governance structures should we put in place as a sector to realize adequate service delivery in ASAL? You have the mic.
Thank you very much. My name is Hon Udgoon, Women Representative of Garissa County. Allow me to thank the ministry for inviting me to this conference. I'm glad to be here. I was here since yesterday. As we all know, 70% or 80% of Kenya landmass falls under ASAL areas. And 70% of the livestock we have in the country are also in the ASAL areas. For example, in my county, it holds the biggest market for livestock in East Africa. I come from Garissa, and I see how water problems affect my community. So the sustainability fail come from several aspects. The first one, when we are taking programs to Garissa County or the ASAL areas at large, mostly it is not for the interest of stakeholders' interest is not being put first hand. It's an individual interest whereby people will overstep the procedures needed to be followed, and there is no public participations in such areas. That's how we lose sustainability, and the government is using a lot of money to invest in water in these areas, but none is felt on the ground, unfortunately. The second problem is in Garissa, only in Garissa, I think, and Tana River is the only place that have rivers that they can use, but most of the ASAL areas do not have permanent water resources. I just had the CS also telling us the same. And if we don't invest much in the places, then there will be a problem. Even in Garissa County itself, we have a river, but we don't have water in the town. 1 kilometer away from the river, there is no water. I will advise the ministry on how they can channel this water to be used within Garissa County, Tana River, and use the river to give other arid and semi-arid counties water sources. Let us channel this river water and use it instead of draining itself to the ocean. In Garissa, we lose a lot of water through evaporation. And I think if there is technologies that we can use to overcome that problem, then we can have a lot of water. Because for now we use water pans, open canals. Instead, we can use the technologies and be innovative. At least have water pans that are closed to avoid water evaporations. We can have, let's say, underground tanks or even closed canals for these water resources. And the other thing is, we just came from a severe drought in the county, in the counties that are in the ASAL areas. And after a very severe and scarcity of water, then you find yourself in floods again. And the people don't know what to do in this time that there's a lot of floods. So if the water ministry and other water agencies can invest in educating the people from the ASAL areas by water harvesting system, if we can harvest those rainwaters, then we can use them in dry seasons. So I will hope the ministry will take measures on water harvesting. Effective communication is needed for the people of ASAL areas on how to do water harvesting. and also to provide the people with water storage facilities like underground water tanks. Let's invest more in schools also, because in schools, during the drought, kids are dropping out of school because there's no water in the area. And I will use an example of Garissa County. There is a very sad joke that people make about pastoralists, but I find it sad, but some of you who have water in their backyards may find it funny. They say when pastoralists want to move and the kids does not know where they are going, the parents just come to the school, open the doors, and he will be like, "Hey Farah, we are moving. You endelea tu kucheza na hizo makaratasi unacheza nazo hapo." And the parents just like that take the kids away from school and they move away from that particular school. So if there is a way that also the ministry and the government can put water around schools, then we can keep these young children in school in my area. And we can also provide water tanks for the schools so that we keep these kids who I represent from the ASAL areas to keep them at school. Before, I think my time, you see very few Somali or ASAL women coming to conferences. And I'm glad these days we are coming up thanks to the government and the little resources we are having to catch up. Before we used to sell, we are marginalized community, but with devolution, thanks to God, most of us are now in the limelight and are fighting for our spaces within the communities. I would like to thank the water ministries. For me, it's just those measures. If we can control the contractors on also having researches done on grounds where that we can identify aquifers, the main aquifers that we can get water. If we identify that, then we have no problem. Because in some cases, sitting in the park committee, at times people, water agencies come and their problem is they use resources, but there was not yield, there was no water found on the ground. If the government and the ministries can invest on identifying places that has water, then we will not waste these small resources we have for water investment and all that. They can identify. There is no need for drilling several meters down the ground and find gas or no water at all or salt water. I think we can invest and be innovative and create a situation whereby the engineers know already where there is water and where there is no water, so that we can cap on such problems. For me, that's all I have. If every school should be given a water tank to facilitate them and have water pans around the school so that we can also keep our children of the ASAL areas in school. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Siad. Let's appreciate her. Very useful suggestions: community education, community awareness, public participation, doing water resources, storage tanks, and involving school, including culture change and groundwater mapping. Thank you so much indeed.